Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. The Maxons here with you. I'm Nate. That's Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And we were just before we went on the air discussing how I've had been a little under the weather. Aaron was a little under the weather last week. I think he said it was last week, but I think it's going around. But we are here tonight getting another episode of the Clash of the Champions series done this week. We are going back to 1996, January of 96. It is Clash of the Champions number 32. We're almost to the end of this series. We'll just have 3 more to do after this.
Yes.
And our Clash of the Champions series will be over. I think it's been a success.
I feel it has too. And one thing I was going to say before we get back in the Wayback Machine, before we get into the Wayback Machine, is this is the start of both companies shifting, and like, how do I say it? Like, I eat like all through elementary school and junior high, because I'm about to be in I'm going into junior high here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was always a wrestling fan, but there were maybe 7 of these shows where we, as wrestling fans, were in like the dark times where only wrestling fans were wrestling fans.
Yeah.
But we're about to embark on where it's now cool to be a wrestling fan. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, we're hitting that era. It's not quite there yet, but by like the next show, it's insane that we're gonna go from January 25 to September 15th, and just in that time, wrestling became. It's not quite like
mainstream again.
Mainstream
again,
but it's definitely getting there.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say it's funny that you mentioned that, because when you're living through, like, for those of you that, I don't know, it's not like that anymore, really. Since WWE became the fucking NFL of wrestling or whatever, it's just always WrestleMania is always a stadium. It's a different time. It's a different place. But when you live through wrestling booms, it's cool going through the boom. It's fucking, I always say it. It was cool to live through the Monday Night Wars. It was a blast. But I'm always more of a fan of wrestling when it's not mainstream. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm
wrestling then.
Yeah, well, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just, yeah, it's hard to explain, but you're right. It's there's a lot less, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I'd much rather watch the New Generation era than the Attitude Era. Not that there isn't fun shit in the Attitude Era. That's not what I'm saying. I enjoy that too. But if I'm going to sit down and want to watch something, I like business when it's down, I guess.
Yeah, like, back when you were watching it, you were like, maybe this is, like, when you're watching it, like, the downtime. It's funny because, like, when the downtime, when you're watching it, you'd enjoy it, but it's like, this is kind of stupid, but you're still watching it. And then when the boom time's big, you're like, oh, this is fucking awesome, because you can talk to your buddies at school about it, or work or whatever. But, like, yeah, I told you I was doing that thing that I want to, maybe once I'm done doing it, maybe do like a segment a week of like the 100 best pay-per-view matches of the 90s.
Yes.
Dr. Isaac Yankem, DDS, is a shitty gimmick. Okay? And we knew it watching it as kids, like, this gimmick's kind of stupid, But SummerSlam 1995, the best match on the entire show is Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS versus Bret Hart in a
versus
steel
Bret
cage.
Hart. Yeah,
it's the best
that's not
fucking
in a
match
cage.
on the
That
show.
one's not in a cage, but
Oh,
it is the
sorry.
best
Yeah,
match on the show.
sorry.
They do have a cage match on Raw. They do
Yeah,
have a cage
sorry,
match
I
on Raw
misspoke
in
about the cage
October.
thing, but Isaac Yankem and Bret Hart had like Glenn Jacobs and Bret Hart had great fucking matches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mention that it was. I misspoke about it being in a cage, but
oh, that's okay. That's all right.
You get what I'm saying? It's like those guys had fucking banger matches.
Yeah, it's
fucking
funny.
Bret Hart getting his jacket stole by Jean-Pierre Lafitte was stupid.
But it
Bret
led
Hart
to some
and Jean-Pierre
banger
Lafitte
fucking
had
matches.
some fucking banger matches, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I'd rather watch Jean-Pierre Lafitte and Bret Hart have a 20-minute match in the Fern Gardens over watching the New Age Outlaws versus the Acolytes.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'd rather watch Bret Hart and Jean-Pierre Lafitte wrestle for 20 minutes in the Gardens than I'd rather watch Okada and Omega go for an hour. I don't know. It's just better. Yeah. It's just better.
Yeah.
Speaking of like downturns in business and then like banger matches. So right before we went on the air today, actually, I was watching not randomly, but I was watching the Monday Night Raw from July 5th, 1993. It's the day after the Intrepid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a few significant things about it. First of all, of course, the Intrepid thing with Lex Luger turning babyface and Todd Pettengill wearing the silly little shorts in his American shirt, his like flag shirt in the ring. But anyway, on that thing, there were two things. Oh yeah, there were two things that were significant on that random Raw that I watched. First, it was the first time. It was funny. It was the first time they ever cut the lights for the Undertaker. Okay. The bong hits in the Manhattan Center, and they turn the lights off and they put a spotlight. But it was funny because you could tell it was the first time they ever cut the lights for the Undertaker because it went boom and the lights went out and people were like, ah! Like there was like screaming and like people were like, what the fuck is that? All they did was turn the lights off, but it was and of course Heenan's like, where's my watch and all that. But and the other thing about it, speaking of great matches, on that random Raw, July 5th, 1993, I think by this point, Wayne Bloom was probably gone. So Mike Enos is still around doing Blake Beverly, right? But he's just Blake Beverly.
Yeah.
But it's Blake Beverly, and I know you're going to say, shit, I want to watch this match. It's Blake Beverly versus the 1-2-3 Kid in 1993.
Fucking Mike Enos. You know how I feel about Mike Enos.
Yeah, but Mike Enos versus Sean Waltman in 1993. Dude, it was a fucking awesome match. I forgot it even happened.
Mike Enos
I was like, well, this is a pleasant fucking surprise.
Mike Enos is my warlord. You know what I mean? Like I like Warlord, but like, you're always like, oh, Warlord was my undercover jam. You know what I mean? Like a guy that's he was just kind of there and nobody else really dug him or whatever. But it's like, oh, Mike Enos is like, he's my Warlord. He's like the guy that never really, I think, got the credit and the push that he deserved. I think.
Yeah, definitely. If you get a chance, look it up. 1-2-3 Kid versus Blake Beverly, and it's July 5th, 1993.
Minnesota, baby.
It's a good match. Really good match.
Good Minnesota boys.
Yeah.
It's like Minnesota. When you talk about wrestling, it's like Minnesota, Texas and Canada. It's like where the best come from.
All right, let's get in that Wayback Machine. I was trying real hard. I always try real hard before we come on to like kind of rack my brain. I cannot think of any. I couldn't think of movies or songs for this because I don't cheat. Because I want to have fun with it. You know what I mean? I don't cheat.
Yeah.
I try to go by my memory because it's kind of like a game for me. But I got to admit defeat this week because I could not think of what was our.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't think you'd get any of them because the songs I kind of remember, but I barely remember them. So do you want the songs or the movies first?
No, let's just start with the songs.
Okay, the top 2 songs in the week of January 25th, 1996 are both R&B songs. Number 2 is Exhale by Whitney Houston.
One of the lesser Whitney Houston songs.
I'm not a huge Whitney Houston fan. I think we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
And the number 1 song is One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men.
Yeah, that's kind of a boring top 2.
Yeah. So the top 2 songs.
Not much to say there. Yeah.
Yeah. But the top 2 movies are good.
Okay.
Do you want the number 1 movie or the number 2 movie first?
Let's start with number 2.
Number 2 is a Bruce Willis movie. It's 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys is a movie I remember liking, but I haven't watched it in a very long time. A very long time.
I haven't either, but it was one of those movies that had like a lot of twists and crazy shit in it. And it was a good movie. And then the number 1 movie, and I have no how do I say it? I have no shame in saying that I enjoy this movie, and then the other 3 installments that came after it. Okay? Because I think the fucking comedy's on point, the animation's on point. Everything about it is really good. The number 1 movie at this time was Toy Story.
Oh, Toy Story's. You know what? So, Star Wars, The Godfather, and I know there's more than 3 now, but this is going to be crazy. But Star Wars, the first 3, The Godfather 1, 2, and 3, and Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are my favorite trilogies of all time. I'd put Toy Story above fucking Lord of the Rings. Fucking like Toy
Lord of the Rings is boring.
Star Wars.
Lord of the Rings is boring.
I like Lord of the Rings. We're different. We differ on that. But no, Toy Story is my third favorite. Like I said, I know there's a 4th one now, but those first 3 Toy Stories are one of my 3 favorite trilogies of all time. Right up there with The Godfather and Star Wars. Man.
Yeah. Fucking Lord of the Rings is boring, dude. Nothing happens. And
you're making me think of Randall now.
Schmeagol, I think, like he's like, because that was the fucked up looking one, right? Schmeagol.
Yes. Yeah. My precious.
I think that dude's like the fucking. He's the baby face. Like everybody's smacking him around and shit. He just had his ring, right? That was his ring, right? And then they took it from him, and all he wanted was his fucking ring back. And then he like fucking ate the cookie on the mountain, and then he smacked the shit out of him again. It's like, you guys caused this.
Bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah, Schmeagol just wanted his fucking ring. That was his property. Like I said, he ate that cookie, no, he didn't even eat the cookie. Didn't fucking Rudy Hobbit eat the cookie?
Yes.
Yeah, Rudy Hobbit ate the cookie, right?
Yes.
And then he blamed it on Schmeagol and smacked him around. It's bullshit. I don't know. That fucking movie. That movie. Those movies were terrible. they were super long and nothing happened. And by the end of it, it's just like, yeah. I don't know why we're talking about Lord of the Rings.
Because I was talking about Toy Story as one of my favorite trilogies of all time.
Yeah, I think Schmeagol got a bad rap, man.
Welcome to We Can't Wrestle podcast. Schmeagol's the babyface.
The whole meth head got a bad rap.
Well, here we go. January 23rd, 1996. We're back at I know we called it last week when we called the Nasty, or a couple weeks ago, the Nasty Convention.
The Nappy Convention.
The Nappy Convention. But that's where we're at here. Paradise, Nevada. January 23rd, 1996. Caesar's Palace.
And like I said, sorry.
I was just going to say, we are officially in the Nitro era now. Nitro has started.
Yes. And like I said last week, this is it might be a throwaway story for everybody else, but I'm a Brian Pillman fan. I always will be. But like I said last week, this is obviously we didn't know it when it was happening, but this is the same time that Brian Pillman walked up to Vince McMahon and was like, "Oh, like he's never met him before," and he was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to meet you. You're the greatest thing in the world," and was acting all crazy because Vince and Jim were there, and then Vince McMahon was like, "Jesus Christ, I think we need to get some help for that guy," and Jim Ross is like, "He's fucking working you," and Vince is like, "Oh, like Brian Pillman worked the greatest worker in the history of professional wrestling." You know what I mean?
Yep. Brian Pillman worked. He worked Vince. He even worked Bischoff. He even worked Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like Vince is the greatest worker of all, like the greatest. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like out circusing P.T. Barnum.
Yeah, and Vince was like, "Jesus Christ, that guy's fucked up," and Jim Ross was like, "No, he just fucking worked you, and you're the guy that teaches everybody how to work people." And the significance of Brian Pillman, I don't think gets talked about enough anymore, and I wish it would be, because you could talk about the NWO and Steve Austin, 316 says I just whipped your ass and all that. Brian Pillman was the ammunition for the Attitude Monday Night War era.
Yeah, and the reason he doesn't
that dude got it before everybody else did.
The reason that he doesn't get talked about enough is, number one, he passed away just before everything took off. Number two, I don't think WWE likes to talk about him because of the end of his life. They don't like to talk about people that die because of drugs and shit. They just don't, you know.
And I get it.
He just doesn't get brought up enough. You know, they even brought in Brian Pillman Jr. and then made him Lexus King, and they don't even talk about him being Brian Pillman's son. You know what I mean? Like they did it first. They did it first to get over that he was a second generation wrestler, but it's not like they do with Randy Orton, where they constantly mention Bob Orton Jr. and Bob Orton Sr. or, you know what I mean? Like with Lexus King, they don't mention that he's Brian Pillman's son. It's just, you're right though. They don't talk about him.
And like I said, I understand that aspect of it, because like, where do you go from that?
Right.
You know? It's like when people really shit on it when they didn't put China in the Hall of Fame after she passed away, and Triple H was like, "Well, where do you go at the end of her career?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, she was a big deal, but if you put her in the Hall of Fame, okay, where do you end it? Oh,
Right,
she
like
was
the
a porn
video. Like,
star, and then
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She made illicit adult films with her boyfriend Sean Waltman, and
then she
I
made
don't know.
real porn movies, and then she overdosed. So,
Yeah.
like, lump her in there with DX, and people shit
Mm-hmm.
on that. Like, I understand that from a corporate aspect of it. So, like, I'm not blaming the company for that, but I even think, how do I say it? So I understand. I shouldn't say like, oh, I don't get it, but like, I think it's lost on it now because they can't do that. That Brian Pillman are really, in my opinion, the loose cannon Brian Pillman character was the fucking launch for that shit. Everything we got, like, oh, Agent Zero or whatever, it was fucking Brian Pillman doing it. Like, I, and I know we're not talking too much about it because it's not going to be on these shows. But like when I was a kid watching this shit, like him showing up in WCW with like the 1-900 Pillman shirts and being out in the crowd, or like the very little interaction with him and Hogan,
Mm-hmm.
or like he attacked Hogan and Hogan like fucking like legit hit him with the chair and was like, it was almost like, what the fuck was that, brother? Like Pillman was the first guy to blur the lines, in my opinion.
I mean, most definitely of his generation, anyway. I think you can go back. You can let's see, that would be 96. You could go back maybe 10 and 15 years, and there's a little bit of that with Roddy Piper. Like you watch like Georgia Championship Wrestling or Mid Atlantic or even his early stuff in the WWF, you get that feeling from Piper. Like when Roddy Piper's out there, you don't really know what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I absolutely see what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. I'm comparing Pillman's that live wire like Roddy Piper was. You never know what fucking Piper you're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Pillman was the everything he did was the template for the Attitude Era. Like if he doesn't do what he did in WCW and then he doesn't pull the gun, I don't think there's Attitude Era. You know what I mean? Like he was the guy that was like, fuck it, let's just see what happens. Let's just do it.
Well, he is on this show we're going to talk about. We start this Clash of the Champions with, like I said, we're in the Nitro era now. From this past Monday on Monday Nitro, where Randy Savage has defeated Ric Flair on Nitro to become the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Something I wanted to note about Macho Man Randy Savage. Again, it's because I'm actually watching stuff from 93. It's funny about football players and basketball players and baseball players, just athletes whenever they interact in the WWF.
They all love Macho Man.
They all love Macho Man, but they just call him Macho. Let me tell you, Macho. You know what I'm gonna do, Macho? Anyway, but yeah, Randy Savage is the new champion. They're showing us that there's tension between Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. And then it made me write down. It made me write down a question.
Oh, can I tell you what I think is like? Before you ask the question, can I tell you what I think one of the best lines ever is?
What's that?
In the history of wrestling. And it's this. It's Macho Man wins. I think it's this one. Oh, it's not. Sorry. I keep confusing things. I confused the cage match, and then I confused Macho Man winning and Macho Man winning the championship at World War III. God damn it! Go ahead, ask your question then, because I just fucked up.
It's okay. My question was just, that we're still 6 months away from the NWO. They're obviously they've been playing up the Sting Luger tension. They got the Sting Luger tension forever, because we talked about that, how there's that just a running thing for fucking Nitro for like the first 9 months. That's a thing. But
yeah,
they haven't got to the place where they're doing the NWO yet, because we do wind up getting Hogan and Savage with Hogan as the baby, or Hogan as the heel and Savage as the baby face when Hogan's in the NWO later on in '96. My question, fucking long way to go, short time to get there. Sorry. Do you think, because that through the fall of '95 into the spring of '96, as they're going through the Dungeon of Doom thing and all that, do you think the plan that they had before the NWO, before they went that direction, do you think they were trying to recreate Mega Powers Explode and going to turn Savage on Hogan again? Because it feels that way. But they just never fucking get there. They fucking jerk off about it for 9 months. But
they do, and it's funny because you asked that question, and my contorted thought works into that. You remember when Savage won the belt at World War III?
Yeah.
In the big battle royal or whatever, and Hogan got pulled out underneath the rope and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great fucking line that Randy Savage does, because he's the champ.
Right.
And he's won the belt, and then Hogan's in the ring and all that shit. And Randy Savage looks at Hulk Hogan and he's like, "You're celebrating like you became the champion. I'm the champion."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, why are you in here celebrating?
Right.
So I really do, like, once you brought that up, I really do think that, and knowing Kevin Sullivan, well, I don't know him, but you know what I mean? Like,
the way his brain works.
The way his brain works was probably a little bit of a long-term thing of, let's bring Savage in, like a handshake or a slap, which was a cool angle when they brought him in. Like, is Randy Savage going to shake his hand, or is he going to slap him in the face? And he shook his hand, and why are you celebrating like you're the champ? Yeah. So I think so. And then happenstance happened.
We got our little intro from our commentators, Tony and Bobby. And then we go to Gene Okerlund before we start the action, because what's that? Yeah.
What you're going to talk about, it's a fun thoroughfare on this thing.
Yes, we're going to the Little White Chapel in Vegas with Mean Gene Okerlund, and he is there because Colonel Robert Parker is going to marry the sensational Sherry.
Little Colonel Parky.
Little Colonel Parky.
And Sherry Martel are going to get married.
And that's going to be fun.
Checking in.
Yes, he's checking in, letting us know what's going on. He's going to be there to cover all the happenings. And boy, there are some happenings. The opening match of this Clash of the Champions.
Two big wrestling weddings happened at that place.
This one and Hunter and Steph, right?
Yep. But anyway,
you could never get away with that again. You could never get away with that today.
Him roofing her.
Yeah, roofing her. Fuck it. Yeah, he never. And then how many times we consummated the marriage? Jesus Christ, he drugged her and raped her. when you think about it, God damn. Anyway,
him calling him dad is like one of the best fucking things ever.
The opening match of this show is the Nasty Boys versus the Public Enemy. At this point, the Public Enemy, they're still, I don't know. WCW is still trying to portray them as like hard. They haven't become the WCW's bushwhackers yet. WCW is still kind of trying to portray them as the hardcore guys from the ECW.
Going through Reliving the Extreme, you know my opinion of the Public Enemy. And it's still the same. But this is the only time, like, I actually don't mind the Public Enemy more than when they were in ECW. Like, when they're with the Nasty Boys, I guess I don't mind. I don't hate them as much. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I don't know.
Sometimes
them doing this hardcore stuff or pseudo hardcore stuff with the Nasty Boys. It's like, this is the least that I was annoyed by the Public Enemy.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. This is just a plunder match. I think, as a matter of fact, they do a whole bunch of shit to each other, and then at some point in between them, my notes say these guys are all just beating the shit out of each other. There's tables, there's weapons. About halfway through, the referee just disqualifies everybody, but it doesn't matter because they just keep beating each other up. And that's my notes on the match.
Like the only real big spot I have in it is, and I think it even happened after the match, was it didn't happen after the match, sorry. The craziest spot in the match was Jerry Sag smashing Johnny Grunge in the face.
With half a table?
With half a table jumping off the ring. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think that was Jerry Sag just being like, well, I'm going to hit this fucking guy. These fucking J Browns. Like, with how brief and quick both their runs were in WCW and WWF, I think when those guys got there, nobody wanted anything to fucking do with them.
Yeah. Yeah, they were not. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, they weren't made to be. They weren't made to be in the big leagues. Let's just level with it. They weren't made to be in the big leagues. They were made to be in a promotion like ECW, where they can hide amongst the deviants or whatever, you know.
Yeah. And
those are your people.
I don't want to discredit Ted Petty, but I think it was mainly Johnny Grunge, probably. But
well, then after this thing, we get Eric Bischoff, who at this point still looks like a used car salesman. He is going to interview Ric Flair and the Giant. Of course, Flair talking about having lost the championship this past Monday on Nitro. I should mention, I guess he's interviewing them because the main event tonight is Hulk Hogan and the new champion, Randy Savage, against Ric Flair and the Giant. That's the other thing I noted here, too. The Giant has come a long way just since the 6 months ago that we watched a Clash.
Yeah. And I know those early Nitros are kind of rough, you know, just with the storylines, but the action's good, I think. I like Ric Flair and the Giant together. Like, when you watch those 95 Nitros when Flair and the Giant are like a tag team, like, I think it's funny because it's like Ric Flair's music hits, and then him and the Giant come out, and Ric Flair's strutting and dancing around the Giant.
Yeah.
I got this big motherfucker with me. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought they were actually a cool
I did too.
thing together.
And I know he's not as big as Paul White, But Flair kind of did the same. Flair kind of did the same shit with Batista, you know, like when him and Batista were a team.
Big motherfucker with
He's
me.
like, get this big motherfucker. He's my partner. Woo! I'll do what I want.
Nobody can beat me, man. This big bastard by me.
He'd come out with Batista and he just could do the little shuffle, and like you said, he'd do the strut around. Yeah.
Look at this fucking goon I got with me. Nobody's gonna fucking stop me.
But yeah, you're right. It's fun. Then after that interview, the next matchup is good shit, really pal. Good. It is, yes, very good. Dean Malenko versus Alex Wright. Now we've got to talk quite a bit during this series. Probably the most conversation we've got to have in the history of our show about Alex Wright and how good he was. We really haven't got to, a lot of stuff that we've watched or reviewed or talked about. He hasn't come up. I'm kind of glad we did this Clash series for reasons like that, because there's been some people that we've gotten to highlight and talk about that we didn't get to talk about before.
Yeah.
But he has a really good, I don't know, maybe like 5-minute match here with Dean Malenko. My notes here are just that, it's a good wrestling match. Excuse me. Kind of during the story of it, of course, is Malenko's kind of working over the leg of Alex Wright because of the Texas Cloverleaf. Then he doesn't even beat him with the Texas Cloverleaf.
Yeah, and like you said, talk about Alex Wright, and then obviously, even before we started doing this podcast, about my opinions about things, because we've known each other since I was born. My opinion on Dean Malenko.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Malenko is in my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. And it wasn't a long match, obviously, but wrestling wise, I think it was one of the better things on the show. And like you said, he didn't win with the Texas Cloverleaf, which I actually liked. Like, he just works over Alex Wright's knee, and then Malenko drop kicks right in his knee and rolls him up for the 1, 2, 3.
And I also gotta throw a flashback. Throw a flashback to last week's episode. Remember last week you said if Alex Wright does a German suplex, isn't it just a suplex? Well, this was the match that I mentioned. This was the match that I mentioned last week, where I knew on one of these clashes somewhere, Alex Wright does a fucking amazing German suplex, and it was during this match. Right before the finish, he gives Dean Malenko a fantastic fucking German suplex.
Yeah, like, these are two of the underrated fucking dudes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I know Dean, I don't know what to say. Like, Dean isn't underrated in the wrestling business. And Alex is like, I think these guys are underrated in the way what I talked to you about, like, or when we talk about like stand-up comedy of like a Norm Macdonald or a Richard Klein, where like if you ask a comedian who's the funniest guy, they're like, oh, Norm Macdonald or Richard Klein. Colin Quinn. But then when you ask like an average comedy fan, like, who do you think's the funniest dude? And they're like, oh, fucking,
it's Dane Cook.
Tom Segura. Well, I like Tom Segura. Don't get me wrong, Or who do you think's the funniest guy? Be like, Mike Babliglia or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think both of these guys are buried in that way. Of, if you ask a wrestler, who's the best wrestler? Not the best wrestler, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the to coin the expression, like that's what made me think of Colin Quinn. It's the comedian's comedian, like Al Snow. Al Snow's a wrestler's wrestler.
Yeah.
You know,
Norm Macdonald is a comedian's comedian. Dean Malenko is a wrestler's wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Wright, I think, is a wrestler's wrestler.
When anybody asks me who the number one stand-up comedian in America is in this day and age, I'm gonna say John Mulaney. Anyway, I just wanted to bring John. I wanted to bring John fucking Mulaney up because he's my favorite current stand-up comedian that is actively standing up. But anyway,
he's Cody Rhodes. Like John Mulaney is Cody Rhodes. But then Dave Chappelle is Randy Orton.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to compare
veteran.
I'm not going to compare Cody Rhodes to Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's two fucking different ball games. And I'm not going to compare John Mulaney to Randy or John Mulaney to Dave Chappelle,
I fucking love when John one of the funniest things, one of the things that hit me the hardest in a stand-up special ever is the thing when John Mulaney shows up at rehab and the lady's like, "Do you have any narcotics on you right now?" And he goes, "No. May I use your bathroom?" "No. May I use your bathroom?" I fucking love that shit. That is so fucking funny.
My favorite John Mulaney bit is when he's trying to get Adderall.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. And he's got Nurse Batman with him and all that shit. That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's a great that's a great sequence. But yeah, like that fucking shit is just like a punch you in the face joke. That may I use your bathroom thing gets me every fucking time. Speaking of shit that's not entertaining, the next thing on this show, Disco Inferno is supposed to wrestle Kevin Sullivan. The only funny thing about this is Disco Inferno is not wrestling Kevin Sullivan because he's going to the wedding.
Yeah, I got better shit going on.
I'm gonna go to Parker and Sherry's wedding instead. But he's supposed to wrestle Kevin Sullivan. He does not. And the way that he lets Kevin Sullivan know that he does not is he sends out the absolute worst, and it's not even funny bad. This isn't even funny bad. The worst Elvis impersonator of all time to do a singing telegram. I put down, this shit is fucking god awful. None of this was good. Even Sullivan beating him up. None of it was fun. None of it was funny. And none of it was good.
The Elvis impersonator that Big Pussy killed on The Sopranos was better than this
guy. Good call. I like that one.
Yeah, this was bad.
Then we head over to the Little White Chapel. Buck and them show up.
I like their outfits.
They're just in their gear.
And little cowboy hats.
Little cowboy hats. Gene wants to know from Buck and them. It's Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater, everybody. But like I said last week, I always say Buck and them because that's what fucking Parker called them all the time. Gene asked Buck and them where the Colonel is, and they're like, "We don't know. Last time we seen him, he was losing at the crap tables."
Yeah, so if you guys haven't figured it out, our listeners, as Colonel Robert Parker is supposed to be getting married to Sherry Martell, if the story's true, he is losing every fucking dime he has before he gets to this.
In other words, if if anyone should not be getting married in Las Vegas, it is this man.
Yeah, it is Colonel Robert Parker.
Because he obviously has a problem.
Or Lil Carter Parker.
It gets more and more fun as we go on.
Oh, it does. I'm going to tell you one of my favorite lines in the history of wrestling when we get to it. But
well, we're back into Caesar's Palace here. Eric Bischoff is back. He brings out the new WCW Tag Team Champions, Sting and Lex Luger. And of course, again, like I said, since Luger has come to WCW on the first Monday Nitro, they have been jerking off of the Sting Luger tension thing. They're like the guys that can't get along, or they can get along. They're champions, but they have I don't know. They're just constantly teasing. You know, it's funny because of the NWO. I don't even know if they ever fucking blew this shit off. I don't think it ever even had a payoff.
No, because Sting keeps trusting him.
Yeah, because, well, we've talked about on the show many times, Sting is the dumbest son of a bitch in the history of wrestling from a character standpoint. He's so stupid and trusting.
The funniest part about it, and I don't know why it just popped into my head, was we do go into the NWO, and then everybody thinks Sting turned, and Lex Luger's like, no. He's a nice guy.
Right, yeah. I've never seen such a fucking sucker.
Like, I fucked this guy. Like, Luger should have been like, I fucked this guy over like 17 times, and he keeps bringing me back.
Yeah, one time I beat him up on a Tuesday. He was barbecuing for me on Sunday in front of the pool.
Yeah, and then when everybody thought he turned, Luger was the only guy that was like, hey, he's pretty cool, man. And everybody's like, shut the fuck up, Lex.
Nobody trusts you, Lex. Well, again, like I said, they're the new tag team champions. The Road Warriors come to the ring and making their return to World Championship Wrestling. Or come to the ring, come out in the aisleway, making their return to World Championship Wrestling. They won a tag title match. Sting, he's down with it. I like Lex Luger making excuses, though. Like, we have other teams like the State Patrol that we need to defend against. Luger taking the weak route or whatever. Sting saying, yes, we'll accept your challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think they wind up having that match in a couple of weeks on Nitro, if I remember correctly. But the Road Warriors are back in WCW, at least for a short amount of time. They aren't back for very long.
They're going to go very quickly back to Vince.
Yeah, they're back for a good time, but not for a long time.
Yeah.
Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan discuss Brian Pillman, of course, the loose cannon. He recently did they did one of the best pieces of business on an early Nitro with Paul Orndorff. I love the Paul Orndorff, Brian Pillman 4 Horsemen thing, because it is the thing of Arn and Flair do not like the way that Pillman is treating Paul Orndorff, but once Paul Orndorff jumps on a horseman, win, lose, or draw, you jumped on all of them.
He's a horseman.
So, yes. So Flair and Arn reluctantly, but with malice, help Brian Pillman end Paul Orndorff's career.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Like I said, it's the one of the things about the Horseman faction that was always cool. Like, there'd always be inner turmoil. Not always, but there'd be inner turmoil in it. And it's like, yeah, once you fuck with one of us, you fuck with all of us. You know what I mean? Like, they even did it with Flair and Sting. Like, Flair was like, I'd like Sting.
Yep, we talked about that on whatever clash that was back in this series. Yep.
And
yeah.
But the minute he fucking punched Ole, it's like, God.
I tried to give you an out. I tried to give you some time.
God damn it! Why'd you hit him? Now we gotta kick the shit out of you.
We get a little interview with Paul Orndorff and his neck brace talking about the Horsemen, and they don't know what's coming for him, which I don't think, nothing's coming for him because his career's over. But
he's at a park.
We go back, feeding the pigeons at the park. Well, we go back to the Little White Chapel.
What was that fucking Dr. Demento thing? Poisoning? Yeah, Paul Orndorff poisoning pigeons at the park.
Poisoning pigeons at the park, yes. But we go back to the Little White Chapel. Colonel Parker's finally arrived. He needs $50 though.
This is my favorite fucking line in the whole show. This is what I told you. I'm gonna tell you my favorite thing.
All right.
He shows up and he's on his cell phone and he's talking to his little fried pie.
Yes, fried pie.
And he tells Mean Gene, "Oh, I need $50. I need $50, Mean Gene, to pay the driver." And Mean Gene's like, "Yeah, $50." It's like, $50, Mean Gene. And then he yells at the driver, "I'll get you your $20. Did you even notice that?
I did not. Nope. I
noticed.
Parker I did. I guess I did. I guess
Gene for $30.
Yeah. I guess
great.
I didn't notice he said that to the. Like I remember him asking Gene for $50 for the driver, but I guess I didn't pay attention to what he yelled to the driver, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, because Colonel Parker shows up, and then it's like, "I need $50, Mean Gene," and it's like, and he's like, "I'll get you your $20." He's fucking fleecing him. It's fucking great. Fucking Robert Bowler is fucking amazing, man.
Funny shit from Colonel Robert Parker at the Little White Chapel in Vegas. And now the guy we had a good conversation about earlier on in the show is about to come out and have a match. It is Brian Pillman up next against Eddie Guerrero in the only time in his entire career Bobby Heenan is unprofessional on camera.
He was I don't think he was unprofessional.
Well, okay. All right. He was forced to be unprofessional on camera.
He wasn't unprofessional. And I don't think Pillman was either, from bits and pieces that I ever heard of Bobby. I think it was just because Bobby had neck prop. The story of the match is it's Brian Pillman versus Eddie Guerrero. And Bobby had a no-touch clause in his contract or whatever with WCW because of his neck. And supposedly Pillman didn't know about it. And what Bobby says is that he thought a fan grabbed him.
Okay.
And that's why he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And stormed off. And when he realized it was Pillman, that's why he came back, because he's like, "I was a worker." And
when he comes back after Pillman, like to put the situation for anybody that I'm sure everybody that listens to this show seen it, but Pillman's fucking doing Pillman's doing the Larry Zbyszko to Eddie Guerrero in this match. He's getting out in and out of the ring, stalling. I call it the Larry Zbyszko because that was Larry's shtick.
Yeah.
But he goes over to Bobby Heenan, like, behind him, ruffles up his jacket, like Aaron says, and Bobby Heenan goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he throws down his headset. He realizes immediately, oh shit, I just said fuck on live TV. Walks away, and like Aaron was alluding to, once he realized, okay, it's a work, he comes back, and I did put down here, he does a great job after the fact, after he apologizes, then using that to put over Pillman's shtick.
Yeah, like before the match, like, oh, I love Brian Pillman. He's great. I love everything he does. And then afterwards, it's like, oh, I still like the guy. He's great.
Yeah, but he's crazy.
Yeah. And Bobby said, like, after it happened, like every interview I saw with him, when they when shoot interviewers ask him about it, he said Brian was really apologetic about it and was like, I'm sorry that did it. Like, I'm sorry I did that. I didn't know, yada, yada, yada. But it is one of the craziest things you can talk about, like ad nauseum things. You know what I mean? It's like it's like I don't want to say it, it's like the screw job. And I'm not trying to like demean anything what I'm about to say here, but it's like the screw job, over the edge, King of the Ring 98. It's one of those things just like, oh, everybody talks about this so much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think this situation was just one guy knowing that he probably shouldn't touch the other guy. I really think it was Brian Pillman being a Bobby Heenan fan and wanting to like interact with a dude that he really liked. Probably not knowing that he shouldn't touch him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Brian Pillman in this aspect was told, you don't touch Bobby Heenan. I don't think he really knew.
Right. Oh no, obviously. Yeah. I mean, it was just all a matter of circumstance. Shit happens.
Yeah. But the whole situation's crazy. And once they get past that and get into like the meat and potatoes of the match, what people don't realize is, yeah, Brian Pillman grabbed Bobby Heenan, and it was a crazy situation. But this is Brian Pillman versus Eddie Guerrero.
Probably the only time they ever had a match, if I remember correctly.
Oh, it definitely is. Because he's gone really quick after this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's in WWF by June.
But it's Eddie Guerrero versus Brian fucking Pillman. It's like two of the best ever fucking do it.
And the match is short. It's about 5 minutes, but what is there is good. And Pillman winds up winning by holding the tights on Eddie Guerrero for the 3 count. So, like you said, it's Pillman versus Guerrero, but they didn't really get to do what we know they probably could have done because they only had 5 minutes on TV to do it.
Yeah.
So we follow that up with Eric Bischoff interviewing, what are they called? The Monster Maniacs, Hulk Hogan, and Randy Savage. And they have Kevin Green from the Pittsburgh Steelers with them.
My actual note. Oh, sorry. My actual note is. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What's your note?
Eric Bischoff interviews Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, and Kevin Green. Barf.
And my note is Kevin Green is one of those guys that is I was never a big fan of whatever he wasn't good in the ring when he was in the ring, but what I will say is he is one of those wrestling celebrities
that respected the business.
That respected the business. You could tell he was having a good job or a good time being there. He was respectful of what he was doing. Did it result in fucking good matches? No. He was a halfway decent promo, but yeah. Again, no hate on Kevin Green. I'm not gonna hate on Kevin Green. Like I said, he was just one of those wrestling, like, coming in and out celebrities coming into wrestling that you can be okay with it because you can tell that he respects what he's doing. He's not there to make a mockery of it. He enjoys it.
Yeah.
The next match on the show is the tag team champions Sting and Lex Luger against the Blue Bloods, of course, Regal and the Earl Robert of Eaton.
Earl Robert of Eaton. I thought about it as the WCW Tag Team Champions, Lex Luger and Sting, versus the Sir Robert of Eaton, and thinking of our 1993 Clash of the Champions announcer that had like beef with Steven Regal. Remember that guy?
Yes. The asinine Lord Steven Regal.
Yeah. So when I wrote this down, it was Lex Luger and Sting defending their tag team championships against Sir Robert of Eaton and that stupid bitch, Steven Regal.
The rivalry escalates.
Yeah, that stupid bitch. Because he was always catty in the way he said it too, like asinine Lord Steven Regal.
I also wrote down during this match, just to date this for people that might not understand what the internet is nowadays. They do discuss CompuServe during this show. Later on, you can hop on if your dial up will connect to it. You can hop on CompuServe and talk to Eric Bischoff later on CompuServe. Back then, ladies and gents, the internet was, I don't know, it was just, I don't know, it was cooler. It was cooler because it wasn't everything. But anyway.
The internet was, like a computer. Like people have they don't even have laptops anymore. I still have a laptop. I like laptops. But like a phone looked like a brick and a laptop looked like a concrete block.
From a wrestling perspective, the internet was my introduction to the dirt sheets. Like, I didn't really know about the dirt sheets until I got the internet. Then when I got the internet, I discovered the Pro Wrestling Torch website, which at that time was very antiquated. But I discovered that they had a fucking newsletter where I could get the inside information, and I subscribed to the Pro Wrestling Torch because of the internet. But anyway.
Yeah.
This match is fine. I mean, all good wrestlers, but there's nothing special about it. It's just a way to have a good tag match to get your tag team champions over, Sting and Luger, against two great wrestlers, Regal and Eaton.
Yeah, the only note I have is, and I think we talked about it, not maybe on a Clash. We talked about it on Clash. It might have been a pay-per-view, a WCW pay-per-view discussion. I don't think Regal and Sting had enough interaction in the history of WCW.
Mm-hmm.
But they were really good together.
There's a point, what is it, like 95, where they have a little mini feud But other than that, yeah, because they have I think they have a match at a Great American Bash. Like they have a little mini feud going into like a Great American Bash or something. I don't remember what it is. Maybe
it's that one where Regal backhands them when they're talking or whatever. It's like Sting and Regal worked good together. I think there should have been more of it, but it didn't happen.
Sting winds up getting the Scorpion Deathlock on Bobby Eaton to end this match. Like I said, not a bad match. But now we're back to the chapel.
And Colonel Parker can't afford it now.
Yeah, and Sherry shows up for her wedding. Harlem Heat's here now. I wrote down here. I don't know what. God, I don't know what they said. It's been a minute since I wrote down. Harlem Heat shows up and bitches about the spread, so they must not have liked the food or whatever. I don't know what I.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like you got crackers and cheese. Like they don't have any meat. Like, and basically the gist of it is Parker's wasted all of his money, and he can't get into the chapel to do he can't even get the middle tiered wedding. Like he can literally only afford to get married in the drive-thru.
It's also funny that Sherry, he's like, well, I don't have, he's like, she doesn't have anywhere to dress now. So she actually asks if she can dress in the trailer. And he says there's a dog in it. We're going to find out later why. We're going to find out later why. But yeah, it's funny because his excuse is, you can't go in there and change. No, there's a dog in it.
Yeah.
This is also fun. It's so much fun.
Like he can't get in. You just got to get married in the drive-thru.
So God, I love this fucking shit. Now we come back to Caesar's Palace. Eric Bischoff does an interview with Brian Pillman. And of course, Brian Pillman
setting up his own fate.
What's that?
Setting up his own. Bischoff got so worked by Brian Pillman.
Oh,
that guy wanted to fucking leave. And Bischoff can say whatever he wants to say, be like, "Oh, we did this together, and it was going to be this big orchestrated." Brian Pillman wanted to get the.
Oh yeah, Bischoff's full of shit on that. Bischoff's full of shit on that because you know what? The only guy that can tell us that he's lying is dead. So,
Pillman
absolutely. Pillman fucking worked Bischoff. Pillman fucking worked Sullivan. Pillman worked that whole locker room.
Wanted to get the fuck out of here.
I mean, all his friends are in the WWF at this point. Of course he does.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't want to say it to be mean or anything. At the end of the day, I think he just wanted to go work with his friends. I don't even think he really cared that he got to be a horseman, honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah, he wanted to get the fuck out of there.
He just wanted out of there.
Out of the WCW Brett bullshit. And Steve and get the fuck out.
But in this promo, he teases that he's going to say the 7 words you can't say on TV. That whole bit.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Bischoff, essentially, he's like, Bischoff, what are you going to do if I do say them? You know, it's just, I don't know. Good crazy shit from Brian Pillman here.
Yep.
The next match, we get Mike Tenay joining us on commentary as he joins us to see the Mexican heavyweight champion Conan versus Psychosis.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good, decent back and forth match. And Conan ends up submitting Psychosis, and Conan remains the Mexican heavyweight champion. It's not a bad match, but it's not great.
I don't know what, because my notes are, the match is pretty standard fare for these two. Nothing, it's surprisingly nothing really all that exciting, even out of Psychosis, because they're wrestling to Conan and not Psychosis, so there's a lot of ground. There's a lot of ground wrestling in this match.
Yeah.
But I wrote down Conan wins the match with a weird figure 4 hold.
Yeah. Conan kind of sucked. I shouldn't say sucked.
Conan is one of those guys that I don't like as a wrestler, but I like as a personality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a bit, not that he stinks. He's just, to me as a wrestler, he's nothing to write home about, but he's a dynamic personality. He's a great promo.
He's Godfather.
Yeah.
He's Godfather of Mexico. Like, I don't want to watch like a fucking 37-minute Charles Wright match, but I will watch that motherfucker cut a promo.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking entertaining. I'm a Road Dog. He's Road Dog.
Right. All right. Well, it's now the payoff. The chapel. The wedding.
It is. Mean Gene says he's gonna walk Sherry down the aisle because Sherry wants somebody to walk her down the aisle, and she doesn't have anybody.
And now Colonel's asking for $30, by the way.
Yeah, but what's so funny is Sherry says, "I don't have nobody to walk me down the aisle." And she's talking like Sherry, in her voice or whatever. And Mean Gene says, Sherry, I'll walk you down the driveway." This is okay. If you people don't understand what's going on in this segment, it is Robert Fuller, Sherry Martel, Jimmy Golden, Dick Slater, Glenn Gilberti, Jimmy Golden. Did I already mention Jimmy Golden?
Yes.
Sorry. And somebody else is gonna pop up here in a minute. This is so much fucking raw wrestling talent in a ridiculous segment. It's so fucking good. But go ahead, sorry.
No, that's kind of, my notes here that I'm generally entertained by all this. I did put down my note. I guess you said, what did he say? I'll walk you down the driveway. Is that what he said?
Yeah, Sherry's like, I need somebody to walk me down the aisle. And Gene was like, I'll walk you down the driveway.
Okay, yeah, he said drive. I put, but I'm just saying because my notes say Mean Gene walks Sensational Sherry down the street to her wedding, but it's a driveway. But they're doing the drive-through wedding. Disco Inferno's here, dancing, just to throw that in there. And before they can say their I do's, it's not a dog that was in the trailer. It's Medusa. She was actually who Colonel Parker was on the phone with earlier because, Gene says something to Sherry about the phone call earlier, and she's like, I didn't talk to Parker earlier, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not his fried pie. And his fried pie is actually Medusa.
Medusa comes out of the trailer, starts a fight with Sherry. They fight. Of course, Harlem Heat is pulling Sherry back, and Buck and them is pulling trying to put Buckingham's trying to pull Medusa back. Colonel Parker's broke. The insanity ensues. And that's a wrestling wedding, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. I don't think any of them have ever come off properly.
The only one in the wedding, the only one that's ever got to go off without a hitch was Savage and Liz, but then that went to shit at the reception.
Yeah.
But the wedding got to go off without a hitch. Randy Savage wearing the largest feather ever in his hat.
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
This feather represents my
It's funny and if you watch the Superstars episodes for like 3 weeks before he proposes to her, Piper and Vince have so much fun with it because every week they're like, "Oh, you're gonna ask that lady to marry you, aren't you, Randy?" And then Piper be like, "Yeah, you're gonna ask her to be your wife, aren't you, Randy?" Anyway,
that's the most coke infused.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That announce team,
commentating crew ever. It's all fucking lines.
So that's the wedding, and then we have the main event.
I know we gotta wrap it up, but I wrote down the sponsors for this show.
Okay.
And the sponsors for this show, this Clash of the Champions, they're like, "Thank you for watching the Clash of the Champions." Sponsors included Hot Pockets, and also Lean Pockets.
Lean Pocket.
What the fuck is a lean pocket? And I was like, what is a lean pocket? And I kind of 30-seconded the button. And it's basically a hot pocket, but shoved into the hot, like into the, from what I got of pausing it, it's basically a hot pocket crust, and that was just broccoli and cheese shoved into that shit. That's a lean pocket.
We still have all the cheese. We still have all the sodium.
Yeah.
We just instead of ham chunks, we put broccoli in there.
Broccoli in it. And then Slim Jim, obviously, because of the Macho Man. And then the last sponsor is Karate Fighters.
Wow. I did not. I guess I didn't write anything down, but man, I could have sworn you were going to say Castrol GTX.
No, Castrol GTX was a big sponsor of WCW.
I know. That's why I said, yeah. I was expecting Castrol GTX to be next.
They fucking loved WCW. But I was like, this is like one of the most 1996, 90s things. Is your sponsors are Hot and Lean Pockets, Slim Jims, and Karate Fighters.
Karate Fighters.
Yeah.
There are so many things. I know you're the same as me. Being 90s wrestling fans, there are so many things that, like, Castrol. Who remembers Castrol GTX except 90s wrestling fans? I tell my wife, and she always goes, "I know," because I tell her, forgetting that I told her a million times before. But I tell her all the time, I've seen the last 3 minutes of every episode of Walker, Texas Ranger, and I've seen the last 3 minutes of every episode of Murder, She Wrote, because of Monday Night Raw, and I know a synopsis of every episode of fucking Silk Stockings. Like, if I said Silk Stockings to most people, they'd be like, what the fuck is Silk Stockings? Well, let me tell you.
That was that pseudo porn show that came on before Superstars.
Yes, or La Femme Nikita.
Nikita.
Fucking goddamn fucking 90s wrestling, man. Karate
Renegade.
Fighters, Cactus Jack, Castrol GTX, fucking La Femme Nikita. What was Super Dave's show on USA?
Super Dave.
Was it just called Super Dave?
Yeah. Albert Brooks' brother. Like I told you that on Christmas.
Yeah.
I freaking didn't know until the guy died. That was Albert Brooks' older brother. I'm like, what? Super Dave was Albert Brooks' brother.
Oh, man.
What was he on fucking
Memories?
Larry David? Wigglestein or whatever? Yeah, that's shit. Anyway.
Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage versus Ric Flair and the Giant is our main event. Hogan and Savage are escorted to the ring by Kevin Green, Woman, Elizabeth, Deborah, and Linda Hogan.
Yes. Linda Hogan's out there. And Flair is bumping around like a Super Bowl for Savage. And other than the fact that all them chicks are out there with him and Flair's bumping around, I know in the 80s, like Hogan was jacked, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was synthetic. Okay?
Yeah.
And I understand that we're talking about like Hogan now as being like the worst Hulk Hogan, like character wise or whatever. But I know we've gone a little longer than what we wanted to. This is probably the best, like, in-ring personal shape Hulk Hogan ever was.
Yeah, because he was in natural shape.
That's what I'm saying. This is the best form of a person. This is his most impressive, in my opinion.
Yep. Because he was not like burnt sausage tan like he was as Hollywood Hogan. He was lean, but he was muscular. He wasn't puffy cocaine and steroid Hogan from like 88, 89. He wasn't emaciated Hogan from 93 because, you know, in 93 he had to get off the shit because of the controversy. So he went from big and puffy to just like you the difference is it's
Skeletor.
But it's just because he went from so big to natural in such a short amount of time that it's very jarring, you know, to see the difference. But yeah, you're right. At this point, he's in shape like a man should be in shape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree with that statement. And actually, all of them are. Like Flair's in really good shape here.
Randy's
Savage. And I mean, obviously, the Giant's the fucking Giant. He's a fucking physical phenomenon, but he shouldn't be able to do what the fuck he does in the ring is for his size. He doesn't. They don't talk about that enough either nowadays. How just for his size and everything, how fucking amazing he was. Like,
imagine that dude could do it. that dude could do a drop kick in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like crazy when he talks about like him doing it and Kevin Sullivan being like, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. Like, what was it? But yeah, Giant Paul White was a fucking freak, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he does not get his physical attributes and the things he could do for his size does not get talked about enough nowadays. Like, I'm not saying he is the monster athlete that Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle are and were, but you could put him in that fucking category because of his size and the shit that he could do, at least from like 95 until he got fat in like 2001 or whatever.
Yeah. Is he still with AEW or is he back with WWF?
I have no, he's not with WWE. He's not with WWE. I have no fucking clue if he's with AEW because I don't watch it, but he's not with WWE. I know that.
Well, when he eventually gets back there, I think it's going to be a different story with that guy. Like, that might be the reason you don't.
And it should be. It should be. Because, yeah, I mean,
eventually, if he's not there now, eventually when he gets back there, I think, because I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame or not, but it'll be a different story for that guy, I think. Insane athlete.
Well, this match is kind of your standard, what would happen with Hogan and Savage against Flair and the Giant, but the heels wind up winning the match when Flair clocks Randy Savage with the brass knucks, gets the pin. And then the random tandem, I wrote down the random tandem, that's what their tag team name would be, of Brian Pillman and the Zodiac. Isn't that a fun name for them? The random tandem?
Yeah, that's the random tandem.
Come out to try to attack the baby faces, but Hulk Hogan and Kevin Green quickly dispatch of them. Random tandem. Yeah, it's like when Jimmy Hart was like, "It's double trouble, baby," when he first put Greg Valentine and Honky Tonk Man together. I call him double trouble.
It's like, hey, let's take the best guy on our roster and this human piece of shit and have them right there together.
It's the random tandem.
Yeah, imagine that conversation. Hey, man, let's go out there and really work these people over. Okay.
But do that good.
What do that could? And he's like, well, what do that could is get me a lucrative contract with the WWF.
The World Wrestling Federation.
You simple motherfucker.
All right. Clash 32. Step down, static, or step up. This was a step up, definitely.
This was from our last Clash of step up.
The last Clash of Champions was one of the worst televised wrestling cards I've ever watched in my life. This had some entertaining matches. It had the fucking. It had
the wedding was fantastic.
Yes,
the wedding was fantastic. If only the can you give me $50? Hold on, I'll get your $20. If that's the only thing that happened, it would have been a step up from the last show.
No shit. Even the random tandem is better than last week.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, I made it through. My throat's a little shot now, and I need to go to sleep. So we're going to wrap it up here. I'm glad we got to do it, though. The Clash of the Champions 32 is in the book. It's like I said, there's only 35 of them, so we've only got 3 episodes left in this series. Then we're going to do our 95 draft. I am planning on, I am planning on in the next couple of weeks to record a few segments to discuss the We Can't Wrestle podcast Hall of Fame from 2025. So that will also be a bonus episode for everybody. Once I get all those recorded, I'll probably just compilate them as one episode and put that all together. At some point, me and Aaron and Chad Austin will do one of those because I like to talk to Aaron and Chad together about the Hall of Fame every year. And that's and of course, Pod on the Mountain is coming.
Yes.
The last week of this month, finally, we're going to start reviewing Smoky Mountain Wrestling from beginning to end. We'll do a month at a time, so we'll do a month's worth of episodes. The last Friday of every month is when that will come out. So that is coming soon. Aaron, did you have anything else to say before we sign off here?
Not really. Just I'm looking forward to the Pod on the Mountain podcast coming up, and thank you guys for listening.
All right, we'll see you next week, everybody. As next week's show will obviously be Clash of the Champions 33. Happy New Year. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week here on the We Can't Wrestle podcast.